Ooh, we are live, at least alive. You okay with the presentation? Good.
Yep, I think so.
Perfect, perfect. Hello, everyone. It's AWS User Group Krakow 73rd meeting.
Oh yeah.
73rd, you know, if you will reach 73rd, then everybody will congratulate you. So we reached 73rd meeting.
You're saying you're close.
Yeah, I think, you know, you will have a retirement and everything will be good, right? But nevertheless, guys, it's a pleasure to welcome you here in Hevre, today with support from our partner Tameshi. What I can say more, you know, I don't want to cannibalize the lecture of our colleague.
Yeah, so basically today everything will be about reinvented. We've got Paweł Piwosz about recap from technical standpoint of view, and I will think it will gonna great. Can you confirm?
No,
I don't know.
No, I saw his presentation. Okay. Unfortunately, the tomatoes, rotten tomatoes, are somewhere there, so don't hesitate, you know. But I think everything will go good, right? We'll see, guys.
So that's our first presentation, and second will be from Maria and Kasia about non-technical part from Reinvented. So from what I heard, something nobody never told about.
Yeah, it will happen in Vegas, right? Oh shit, the worst. Let's start, shall we? All right, perfect.
So big applause for Paweł.
Okay, thank you. So I'm close enough to 73, so 25 still. And that will be everything what I need. Okay, reInvent. It's probably you know already that it's one of the biggest probably conferences in the world, right? So how many of you are here? I know. A couple of dozens maybe, right? So the bigger conference like KubeCon last year in Paris, we had 13,000 people. 13,000. It's a lot, right? Right? Okay. So reInvent is 60,000. So imagine this crowd, okay? And this time it was 13th edition, I think, if I remember correctly. And again, 60,000 people in Las Vegas. So nice place, especially in the winter. So and a lot of things happens during these 5 days there. So I will try to go through a couple of technical elements. And first of all, big thank you for Wojtek Gawroński who prepared this presentation for reInvent, for recaps. So we use this presentation almost everywhere this year. And I will not bore you with everything because there is like 200 slides. I have only 180. No, I'm kidding. So let's go through housekeeping elements first. You will see some information. Some of them will be already a little bit outdated, but by these icons, you will know if something is in general availability, if something is Paweł Piwosz or no, public preview, something preview, and something what is coming soon. Coming soon means like half of the year or maybe later. Also, you can see when things were like announced. It can be pre-invent or on the reInvent. Because 1 month before reInvent, AWS starts to announce things. So if you subscribe to the RSS channels or whatever, you are spammed every single day with news, which is annoying sometimes. And of course, you have service name and information if this is open source or not. And yeah, so pre-invent stuff, once again, it's like 1 month before the conference. Okay. I said this already, let's go. So reInvent has is like 5 days long, right? Fifth day, Friday, is very slow. It's half day long. Like 1/3 people only is there. Rest is going home at this time. Many people had a lot of troubles traveling there or back. I'm the good example of it. And yeah, it's fun, at least sometimes, sometime after. And some numbers, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 60,000 attendees, 400,000 people watched keynotes live. Because what is like, you know, streamed live is keynotes only. 900 sessions, more than 900, and 3,000 speakers, a lot. What next? These numbers are about the updates. And as I promised, we will not go through all of them because it doesn't make sense. This deck contains 221 updates. I selected like 50 of them or something like this, what I believe is most important. Because you have to know that this time on the reInvent, it's my personal opinion, we had more like updates for the services and products than new services announced, okay? All right, let's talk a little bit what happened every single day. And we had, every single day we had at least one keynote. At least because one day we had two. In first keynote, we had the information from Peter DeSantis, who went very deeply technical, and half of the audience was like stunned. Rest of the audience was like, what we are doing here. He went very deeply into Trainium 2. What is Trainium 2? We will talk about this very soon. This keynote is worth to see. It's first day. It is later than normally because it's like, I don't know, 4 p.m. or something like that. And was packed with the technical stuff, okay? He said a lot about technicalities behind the scene. So what's going on when you run your EC2 instances or Lambdas or whatever you could hear there. So like a kind of alert, there is server behind serverless. The second one, the second keynote was delivered by Matt Garman, or Jarman, I don't know, CEO of AWS. And honestly speaking, it was, for me personally, it was most boring. There was a lot of stuff where he talked a lot, but happily for not only me, but a lot of people, other people, he asked to join someone who like helped to save the day. The former CEO of AWS, who knows him? Andy Jassy. And he talked a lot about new stuff, the lessons, the things we can learn from AWS. He learned from working with users. Right now he is the CEO as well of Amazon, the whole stuff, not only the AWS. Then we had a lot of about AI. And I mean a lot about AI. I don't remember how many hours it took, like 2 or 3, something like that. Every single announcement about AI. So this guy, I have to read, Dr. Swami. I'm sorry, I cannot read his last name. He is VP of AI and data. And he presented a lot of new things related to AI and data stuff. Most of those announcements were covered by Tomasz last time. I will just go quickly through a couple of them today, but I am not AI specialist, so I don't want to, spoil the fun and do what Tomasz did definitely better than me. Then we had the keynote, which I didn't watch, about partners. So with this keynote, Ruba Borno, who is the VP of Global Specialist and Partners, talked a lot about how AWS is working with partners, why partners are important for them, and so on and so on and so on. And finally, something what everyone wanted to see. The queue for this keynote was the longest one, of course, as usual. Dr. Werner Vogels said a lot about things which are important, but not just from the technical perspective. This time, he used a lot of time talking about something what he called, how it was called? I forgot. Give me a sec. Simplexity. Yes, simplexity, not simplicity, simplexity. Because what Werner said was that everything what is simple on front is complicated behind. So probably you know this meme with some like material where you can see what is in the front. It's like nicely done stuff, and then you have threads everywhere on the backend side. So he said that the most important element is to provide simple functionality to customers, and as the universe hates emptiness, if something is easy from one side, must be complicated somewhere else, right? So simplexity means that you have to deliver complicated things in simple way. For me, it was quite important because who knows me a little bit, you know already that I say all the time that the beauty is in simplicity. So yeah, he said what I said. Yes, he said what I said. All right. So that was about the keynotes. It is worth to see the keynotes because it is like an event inside an event, really. It's very powerful, very energetic, and I know that it sounds like come on, right? But really, when you are there with the tens of thousands of people, you can feel it. All right, updates. I think the most important one, and I mean it, really one of the most important ever done by AWS. We have new console, new visual way of having things, more, I would say, more modern, more like same throughout different services, but most important element. Come on, go. We have the black console. Yes, finally. So yeah, I feel like completed right now. And it works, really. So we had this, and now we can go through the real updates, really. So for the storage, migration, and transfer services, Wojciech selected 19, I selected less than 19. So we have something what is called time-based snapshot copy for Amazon EBS. So as you know, we can do the snapshot for the EBSs, right? Who is doing snapshot for EBS? Who does backups? Yeah, backups are overrated, yes, of course. So now when everyone who did snapshot for EBS knows that when you start the snapshot, you don't know really when the snapshot will end. Because there is no like possibility to see that, right? You have to believe your snapshot is going on and it will finish somewhere. With the time-based snapshots, you can tell that your snapshot must be done in 15 minutes or 48 hours or whatever. And you can ensure in this way that your time or time window for the snapshot is like not only begins somewhere, but also ends somewhere. I believe this is important, especially when you have like huge load and huge peaks of the traffic, and you have to fit in the proper window. Data integrity protection in Amazon S3. So we have new method of protecting integrity of our data on AWS side using their own way of doing it. So no longer we have to use something ours. We can use solution from AWS. And I think second or third really biggest announcement from the reInvent, the whole reInvent, Amazon S3 tables. So I plan to ask how many types of buckets we have, but the answer is here, so it doesn't make sense anymore. But this is the third type of the buckets, okay? So now we can use this way, especially if you do a lot of data analysis, a lot of stuff you prepare for example, machine learning and things like that. You can use new type of bucket where you store data in the Apache Iceberg format. So this kind of Apache Parquet format, Iceberg, can help you to like prepare your data and prepare your infrastructure without any more steps, right? You have special bucket for it. And the second element related a little bit to this, S3 metadata. So how many of you used to work with metadata so far? If you ever tried, you know that this is like, yeah, you have some metadata. But if you want to really work with it, you have to prepare your own like insights, your own scripts, your own stuff around. Right now with this metadata approach, you can really rely on this information, and especially where the strategy with your files in S3 is important, this can be something what is helpful. All right. If you have any questions, just shout. Compute and containers. And so we start with ECS. How many of you are using ECS? Okay, fine, a couple of hands. How did you scale your ECS for the traffic? Somehow, right? And I'm not saying about scaling the workload, but scaling the underlying hosts. Right now, you can enable something what is called predictive scaling for Amazon ECS, and this can help you with the machine learning the capabilities to predictively scale your clusters based on the historical data, right? So let's imagine that every single Friday about 8 p.m. you have peak of traffic. This capability will scale your cluster like preactively. You don't need to do it by yourself. You may say, okay, but I can do it with, I don't know, load balancer, right? Yes, you can. But with load balancer, you will scale like post-actively, right? The traffic already came. This is how load balancer scale your infrastructure. Here you scale, you prepare for the traffic. That's why this is a very good thing for those who are using ECS. Future dated capacity reservation. How many of you ever reserved any capacity in AWS? So you know that when you reserve this capacity, you have this capacity reserved now, right? But the problem is that for many companies, this may be a problematic, especially for the bigger organizations, right? When you have to plan your budgets and so on and so on and so on. So with future dated capacity reservation, you can say today that in 90 days, I need to have like 100 instances. And you will pay in 90 days, not today. So you can plan also your budgets, your organization budget for the future. EKS, who is using Kubernetes in AWS? Perfect, more hands. Right now, when we create EKS cluster, it's not that straightforward, right? When you did it a couple of times, you know how to do it, but it is not a very straightforward process. Let's face it, Kubernetes is not the easiest tool ever created, okay? With EKS Auto Mode, you, as an experienced person, doesn't matter, but maybe you have like 100 cluster under your management, or you are relatively fresh, you can create the clusters with everything around basically in one click. Well, more than one click, but you know what I mean by that. It means that all storages, everything what is around your cluster, what is needed there to be there, you can have it and you can manage with this Auto Mode. It's very helpful. And as my colleague tested, surprise, surprise, it works. Hybrid nodes for EKS. This is very interesting and very helpful. That was the question I had in Warsaw in the recap, and I was like stunned because I forgot the answer, but now I know. What is the difference between hybrid nodes and EKS Anywhere? Because AWS has this opportunity, these capabilities to use one management, let's call it this way, for your clusters in AWS, but also, for example, in your clusters on-prem. So why they created hybrid nodes, which basically do the same. The thing is that with hybrid nodes, you have one control plane. You don't need to have more than one. With Anywhere, each cluster has their own control plane. Hybrid nodes, one control plane, less problems, everyone is happy. Yeah.
They don't hear in the void.
So in the previous slide, can you just quickly go back to the previous slide in the Auto Mode? Yeah, this one, Auto Mode, the next one.
Sure.
Does this works with exclusively with the Carpenter managed node groups as well?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't try it this way.
Yeah, because I noticed in the last couple of years, AWS have been pushing, like managing the Carpenter, upgrade and scaling mechanism for a while, right? And lately, I have faced a lot of issues with the compatibility and the version upgrade, like
yes, especially to the 1.0 then 1.1, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
0.35 to 1 and 1
yes,
to 1.08.
Yeah, we've been there. We've been there. So, logically considering this, Auto Mode is helping you to create clusters. Carpenter is helping you to manage clusters. So they should work together. But I didn't test it. I didn't try it. So I'm sorry, but I cannot answer.
Okay, no problem.
So, I'm trying to use my astonishing intelligence here. So I can be mistaken. But very good question. I will ask my colleague, maybe they tried already. All right, what's next? How many of you using VMware and how many of you heard about another drama in the internet world that the licensing of the VMware changed last year? right? So AWS heard about this as well. And they provide new service, Elastic VMware service, which can help you really easily migrate your workloads from on-prem to cloud. Simply speaking, enough, go. Next one. Now, how many of you used to work with hardware? I'm surprised. 3 people. For the first time. 4. For the first time on all recaps, there is anyone who used to work with hardware. The nice thing about re:Invent is also this, that you can almost touch the real hardware AWS is using. And they announced new CPU, new chip for the machine learning stuff, Trainium. The Trainium 1 was already there. Trainium 2 is new one. Of course, AWS claims that it's better, faster, cheaper, cooler, and so on and so on and so on. And probably it is. And they already announced that Trainium 3 will be delivered this year, somewhere this year. Probably it will be announced on the incoming re:Invent. We will see. So with this CPU, they also add some functionalities. So Trainium can't be used not only for the machine learning, for the learning process, right, but also for inference. So this is this change for AWS. And of course, this CPU is created by their own company, Annapurna Labs. So it is their own CPU. And it's like something like this. Quite nice. And going back here, also, the Trainium server, the Trainium CPUs can be used in special approach they have to compute powers. They created something what they called ultra servers. So you can imagine 64 CPUs like this combined in one cluster. So it's quite fast, quite powerful. All right, databases. Here, like the alert, here we will have the biggest announcement so far. All right, Postgres limitless, Aurora Postgres limitless. So I believe many of you already had a lot of problems with scaling Aurora. Anyway, even if Aurora is quite nice in terms of scaling. With limitless, we can really scale our databases based on the workload, based on the load of the database. So we don't need to provide any special actions from our side. This Aurora should do it for itself. And it works for Postgres, not for MySQL. Something nice. Yes, AWS can lower the prices. So this was announced before re:Invent. And for the DynamoDB, there is reduced price for on-demand throughput by 50%, so a lot. And for the global tables by or up to 67%. So very nice. How many of you are using DynamoDB? And global tables? All right, so we have one person, right? Right. So you should be happy now. Aurora serverless can finally scale to 0. Okay, this was the biggest issue set by the community, and not only the community, when AWS announced the first approach to serverless and scaling or serverless. We said that, hey, it is serverless, but not really, right? Because it cannot scale to 0, so to nothing. And this is the power of serverless, that there is nothing when you are not using it, right? So right now, it works this way. So you can scale your Aurora to 0. Of course, what it means, our beloved cold start, right?
Pavel, do you want questions now or you want questions at the end?
Now can be.
Now can be.
Okay, in case of DynamoDB, Aurora zero capacity units, what is the latency added for the cold start?
So I don't know how it works in the behind, right? But you know, I believe it is somehow snapshotted, so it must be bring back when you start using it again. So there will be this cold start, and depends how big your database is, this cold start will be shorter or longer.
Okay.
I think I will have an answer. Well, that's not like 100% sure. I'm basing it on the Lambda knowledge, but Lambda, basically, cold start in Lambda is opening the new micro VM based on Firecracker. So, and if you are reusing Lambda, it's like the machine is staying there for like 10 to 15 minutes, and it's frozen between executions. Probably Aurora has something similar.
Very similar, yeah.
Yeah, and just after not using it for, as I said, like few minutes, it will delete itself. Probably just database stays here or some metadata, and the machine needs to be rebooted to serve the data.
At least it should work this way.
Any questions? All right. All right. Wait a second. Everybody will hear you.
So the startup time is 15 seconds. That's according to whatever they say.
All right. So not that short, not that long. Depends how you look at it, right?
Depends who's saying. Anybody questions? All right. Perfect. You go for it.
Anyway, did you test it with different sizes of databases? It was like always constant?
According to AWS documentation. Not,
oh, right.
Not,
okay.
Yeah, not
okay.
testing.
It's a good thing to test, really. I have to do it. All right. Multi-region strong consistency. So how many of you hit the problem that you write something to your database and then you read it in different region, and in fact there is or no record or this record is old? So this is the problem with not having strong consistency, right? With strong consistency, we can ensure that when you write your data, this data will be available in this new state everywhere, right? Sometimes in some specific applications, it is critical. And about the criticality of the strong consistency, we will talk in a second. So here is a demo. Especially for the applications which are like near real-time or real-time, this might be very, very, very important element. All right. So that's that. And finally, the biggest announcement, really, Aurora DSQL. So as you know, we have NoSQL database which is multi-regional, right? DynamoDB global tables. Right now we can run kinda global tables, let's call it this way, for Postgres. So we can run our Postgres in active mode between different regions. And this is very important, active. So you can write in one region, you can write in the second region. And it is still not like production ready. I'm not sure if this will be ready, really production ready this year. Hopefully, yes. I had the privilege to participate in workshops about this functionality, and it works quite nicely, but it has its own problems still. That's why it is in the preview, right? So for example, no one knew why when you try to open the transaction and then save the transaction, there were some errors. Then you repeat the step, everything was fine, and so on and so on and so on. So this is very, very cool, like not feature really, it's new service, right? But there is one problem, especially for the organizations which are like crazy about security. Because DSQL has public URLs. Even though you have your database private, you still have public URL to it, public endpoint. So for many companies, it may be like a no-go, really. What else about this? Another very important element, which is not like a service which we can see by our eyes, but it was very, very, very important for this DSQL and for the strong consistency and so on. So when you like align your clocks between regions, your tool is using like milliseconds, maybe, right? So when imagine milliseconds when you try to write the transaction, kind of big of transaction in two regions to DSQL in the same time. And you have to find which of those transactions were first. Milliseconds can be like year long for this case. So with this clock bound, AWS announced provide the nanosecond alignment of the clocks. So it is a huge change, I would say. The change which we probably will not experience ourselves, but those of you who will work soon, hopefully with DSQL, you will rely on it very much, even unconsciously. Analytics, another section. SageMaker. About SageMaker, Tomasz talked a lot last time. I want to say only that SageMaker is not SageMaker anymore. The thing which we know as a SageMaker is something else, right? So the old SageMaker is called SageMaker AI. And this SageMaker is like a platform for all data and AI-based or related tools. So when you hear SageMaker, it will be probably not the SageMaker we knew last year. Machine learning and stuff like this. We have a lot of updates. I will not say like new services or things like that, maybe except one element, but a lot of updates which we should have many years ago, but we finally have them. For example, prompt optimization, right? So imagine that you ask your AI something and you receive like shitty answer, right? Because your prompt was not that perfect. What you can do now, you provide your prompt. This prompt is translated by AI to proper prompt, and this proper prompt is pushed to the proper model to provide you the answer. So AI is helping now. Now AI is helping us to ask AI. I don't know if I like this, but anyway. So this is how it works. Sure.
Sure. Wait a second. I'll just bring to you the microphone, okay?
Is it only me asking? So in case of these models, like Claude have, I think, 50 RPM, the capacity per model. So what is the best way that you recommend to scale multiple instances with the SageMaker Jumpstart or maybe Bedrock Import, if we can combine those solutions for improving the RPM for the models? Any specific approach?
There will be something what can help with this. So this will be like in the next or the
Cross-region
another slide.
inference?
Sorry?
Cross-region inferencing?
Not really. Not really. Not really.
Okay.
You'll see in the second.
Okay, sure.
So here probably you saw already that your like simple prompt was like rewritten to the new prompt, and this new prompt was sent to the AI. Model distillation, one of those things which can answer at least partially to your question. So now with not all models really, but you can distill your models to smaller. And this might be important, especially when you have a very specific case. And you don't need really large model, right? So for example, you want to have like, let's call it this way, like subset of ChatGPT, right? So in the teacher-student mode, you enable the process of teaching the smaller model from the bigger one, and you distill this small model from it. So then you can ask smaller models, and if smaller model doesn't know the answer, it will ask the larger model, right? So this should speed up the process also. I think this part of your question was about the speed as well. So this should also help a lot to reduce the costs, speed up the model, speed up the response from the model, because it doesn't reduce this context window, right? So everything stays the same except the price and size of the model. So this is the one element. Second element, I don't know if I have it here, so let me already say it. You can also have some kind of routing between different family members from the models. So depends on what kind of question or task you have to your AI, you can route this prompt to specific model from one family only. So good and bad, but still you can like have this separation, right? So you can direct the question to the proper model, not like a big one, but like, you know, separated ones, separated distilled model, for example. I hope this answers at least partially. For the regional, I'm not sure, honestly. I'm not sure. Probably yes, you can do it, but depends also how you build the application, you know, above your models, right? So this might be the main scenario here to cover, I think. Marketplace for Bedrock and also marketplace for SageMaker. So now companies can, let's say, sell, this is the proper word, their models through marketplace. So we are not limited to a couple of models like we were so far, but every company can go to the marketplace and provide their models for you for the like specific amount of money. Video for it is it's straightforward, right? And the biggest, I think, announcement in terms of AI, the Nova Foundation models. So how many of you use Titan, the AWS LLM? So it's crap, right? Yeah, I see it in your face. Right now, with Nova, Amazon said that they joined the family of the top models. So Nova is not available everywhere, and also not all models are available. Micro, Lite, and Pro are already available. Premier will be somewhere in the first half of the year probably, and they are quite powerful, even through the benchmarks done by third party. So we'll see how it really work quite soon, I think. And what is quite important about these models, you know that we can have like multimodal models, right? So you can ask your model using, for example, I don't know, some text question, or provide the picture with some text. You can receive the answer also with picture, with text, with music, with whatever. With Nova, we have something what is called any-to-any. So one of the ways of doing things with Nova is to not worry about how you create your communication, how you create your application to communicate with the model. Integration and serverless, finally serverless. Snapstart. How many of you used Snapstart with Java already? How many of you are familiar with Cold Start? How many of you are familiar with two types of Cold Start? So I will not ask how many of you are familiar with three types of Cold Start. What is Snapstart? First of all, previous year, AWS announced Snapstart for Java. This year or last year, they announced Snapstart for .NET and Python. You may ask, why Java first? The answer is very simple. Because AWS considered Java as the hardest to provide to like decrease the cold start time. And they said that if we can do it for Java, we will be able to do it also for other languages. So this is why it happened that way. What is Snapstart? Well, it is in the name. So what it is? Snapshot. All right. So how cold start works really? You send your request to the serverless function. There is nothing on AWS. The request came. AWS realized that they need to do something, so they provision micro VM, install everything on this micro VM what is needed for this specific Lambda function, and this time needed from the request sent by you to start do something with your request is called cold start. It happens only once per function. I'm lying. It happens when you run your function for the first time. If you start running your request one request, right? The next executions of this Lambda will not suffer from the cold start because this Lambda will be in the warm state. But when you start to send two requests in the same time, another entity of Lambda must be provisioned. Because for Lambdas, for serverless, one request is equal to one Lambda, right? And for languages like .NET, especially .NET, this cold start can be terribly long. Imagine you try to build a user portal with .NET serverless functions, and your goal is to have 200 milliseconds of response time. It's not crazy requirement, right? And you can do it with Lambda function in .NET, except cold start. 6 seconds, 10 seconds, 35 seconds. Why not, right? Depends of how many things you have in your Lambda function. So Snapstart is helping us with exactly this cold start time. So when you deploy your function, the snapshot of it is created, And every single time when you request the fresh, this cold Lambda, it brings your Lambda from snapshot. So everything is installed already there, except it isn't.
So I've got a question right now. And is this snapshot like updated during execution, or every execution would be like from this fresh snapshot from the beginning?
It works exactly like cold start. So it happens exactly when cold start should happen.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So if you have your Lambda warm, it doesn't happen. If you run 10 requests in the same time, you will retrieve a snapshot 10 times.
Yeah, I was just thinking about exchanging some parts of file system and trying to persist it during between executions, but it will work the same as before. So
yeah. So now, why I asked about the third cold start? Because, and disclaimer, I'm not the developer. .NET has a very specific functionality, like dynamic compilation. So what it means that when you run your code or your application, when you reach specific section of your code, specific functions, those functions are compiled in that time. What means that those functions are not compiled during deployment. So that way or another, they will be compiled during the runtime. Snapshot is not helping here. You have to remember about that. And snapshot is not worth to use for small functions, because the time needed for Lambda to be restored from snapshot is more or less the same like when you use those all new elements in .NET, which can help you with the cold start. So, and also you have to pay, right, for the storage and for the retrieval. So yeah, if you have a big function, yes, it is worth. If you have small function, forget about it. You have to try it really to see where is this point for you, where it is like smart to change, right? New approach for the step functions, JSON-ATA and variables. So JSON-ATA is like the standard today, and also you can use variables between the states in your step functions. So finally, you can prepare your code, prepare your step functions in the way like the whole world is working with JSON. Developer tools, management, and governance. And yeah, I'm trying to finish, but still a couple of slides left. How many of you is using CloudFormation? How many of you hates CloudFormation? Okay. Right. So CloudFormation had the view where you could see what happened in your stack, right? It is visible there like a table view. But right now, you have the timeline. And believe me, if you work with CloudFormation, you should try it because it is like crazy helpful, especially for those of us who likes to work on the visual elements. Okay, it is crazy helpful. You can see everything here, when something happened, when some resources were created, updated, deleted, and so on and so on and so on and so on. It will not help you to love CloudFormation. Yes, I'm looking at you, but still, it can help at least to not hate each other really much. And I started to use it, and it's really nice, really nice. Application signals for AWS Lambda. So this is quite narrow thing, I think, and for not all of us really, but it can help to build a proper or better observability for your Lambda functions. especially when you use some OpenTelemetry tools, right? CloudWatch offered so far two types of insights, right? You had, for example, container insights, you had Lambda insights. Right now, we have also database insights. So we have like better, more visual, more detailed view what's going on inside our database or with our database. Of course, it doesn't work for everything. It works only for Aurora, at least right now. And no worries, it doesn't look inside your database what your records are. And I believe it is quite smart to not look at there. And finally, I think the third from the three most important announcements, declarative policies, right? It's first part of the most important announcements. So with declarative policies, we can now declare our policies in the declarative way, right? So how those of you who are using like Terraform, for example, you know how declarative approach is important, right? Now you can do the same with the policies. And going with that to the security, we have new type of control policies, right? Resource control policies. So how many of you used SCPs? Right, so you already know how important it is to set a proper SCPs on the organization level to control what your users can do in the organization, right? Now you can do the same for the resources.
So you basically mean that there is more mix-up of policies which most people won't understand.
Exactly, and more people will not pass the exams. Yeah. So, you know, I'm working with AWS for 10 years or so, and sometimes I had the days where I really struggle with AIM. So now I will struggle more.
But by the way, serious question: are resource control policies working like service control policies? So mainly disabling things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what is the limit, though, because SCPs has their limits, right, for the size. LCPs also have these limits, but I don't know what is this limit.
Have you checked how detailed there are? Like, for example, are you locking whole S3, or can you lock like only S3 Glacier and enable buckets, stuff like that?
As far as we tested it, you can do kind of detailed blocking.
Okay, thanks.
Also, kind of announcement from before reInvent, something what we agreed on one recap that this is the announcement of the type of finally. Something what should be there for a long time already, right? Because how you manage accounts in the organization, it's not easy. Right now, you can control the root access to your accounts inside organization from one place. And as I said, finally. Security incident response. Kind of new service, especially for those who worked with BAU, with ITIL approach, or this kind of like SRE work. This might be quite important because this is the service which aggregates everything related to response to incidents, right? So you can have not only the actions, but also communications and so on and so on and so on. And business applications, I don't remember what I have here. Okay, new capabilities in Amazon Connect. How many of you use Amazon Connect? How many of you knows what is Amazon Connect? So simply speaking, it's the call center without people. But not in 100%, because this is a tool which can help you to run your call center. Okay, so it has a lot of capabilities related to AI, to different channels, to different ways of handling the traffic, but also to control the agents and how the agents works, how the agents are organized, how the queues are organized, and so on and so on and so on. And I have this, I expected that no one really knows things about Connect, but as we at Tameshi do cloud contact centers, I had to say that. Done, checked, next. And finally, we reached the end. I encourage you to register yourself for the Builder ID if you don't have one. It is free. So when it is free, it's kind of a good price, I believe. And you can have access to a lot of things, starting with, for example, Amazon Q Developer for your IDE. If you use VCS Code, well, Visual Studio Code. You can integrate it with Amazon Q, which is doing quite good job in terms of helping you to resolve problems with AWS resources, AWS stuff. Don't ask it about helping you to program or write some program. No, but ask it about AWS. And you have access to more than 600 courses and a lot of other goodies. So you can create your Builder ID. If you want to know more what's going on inside AWS, here are the QR codes. And of course, on the end of the slide deck, Wojtek wanted you to suffer because there are 4 codes, so you don't know which one you capture. But always you can do the picture, right? And finally, you can go and win something here, I believe.
Okay, so
Thank you very much.
Big applause for Paweł.
Thank you very much.
I don't know how.
Any questions? Hey, come on. You can throw in him any questions you want.
I don't
It's
know.
a good chance. You know, it's a free consulting. I like the free consulting. I knew that the free consulting will work. Right, perfect.
Free is good price, right?
For the root access management, do you know if you can delegate it outside of management account, the different account?
That's a good question. I never try it, really.
Okay.
Okay, it depends.
It
yes.
depends,
So
yeah,
you
yeah,
consulting
yeah.
me, I consulting you. It depends. Yes, right. Depends how much you pay. It is possible or not.
Okay, thank you.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't try it. Honestly, I believe not, but not sure.
Any more questions? Oh yeah, here.
I don't know.
Okay.
Already?
Quick one. I would like to ask you more about incident response feature. Is it something similar to SOAR, so you can also integrate it with third-party solutions, or it's
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know which one yet, or at least I don't have a list of it. It will grow for sure, but they want to capture this part of market for sure with this approach. So yeah.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Who learned about some new service from AWS?
Yeah, I think you know, like, to emphasize the fact that we ask for the questions because there is a package of stuff for the people who will ask the most of the questions. So don't hesitate. There is an award for that, and as well, if you go through this quiz, we will pick up the fastest and the most accurate answers. And then give you some stuff for that. So don't hesitate. We'll do short break if there is any other questions. Before? Okay. Yeah, sure.
Stuff with this box because I will forget. So if you don't have, yes, there is one more question.
One.
Can you say something more like how limitless Aurora works in terms of no limit on the...
I didn't try it, so I don't know how it works in real life, right? But it should control the workload or the the spikes and so on, and scale not in both way really, and horizontally and vertically for you, right? How this mechanism works, how quick this mechanism is to react, I don't know at this point. I never tried, but I can do it for you. So. Yeah, I can do it later. So if there is no more questions, I will have questions because I love to have it.
Maybe the last one. Sorry. According to this teaching bigger AI model and the smaller one, I forgot resilient. No,
distillation.
Right?
Distillation. Yeah, yeah. It's good stuff. Yes, exactly.
So. Is okay. I know that you can, for what you said, you can limit some capabilities of the smaller model, but can you also point some data sets or things that he need to dig deeper than the previous model? So, yeah. For example, okay, because I've heard that generally in during using the ChatGPT, for example, you can teach him, for example, to write the code from API documentation. You can put this documentation and it's like cached memory for some time that he will remember about that, but it's last some quick time. But in this feature, can I limit it, but teach some points, some sets for longer time?
Think about this like creating separate model, like a child model, right? Which is completely separated at some point from the parent model. So you can do the fine tuning, you can connect RAG to it, you can do everything specifically for this distilled model to create like a new brain, really, right? So it will be more detailed for the specific elements, more focus on specific elements, not like big model about everything, but very directed, very specific, and teached on specific data if needed by the bigger model. Right?
But just to specify, you mean like with different operations, yeah? Because the model extraction won't do those things. You need to fine tune it or use your own RAG.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The name is self-explanatory. So if you distillate, you basically take what is the best from the thing which is below to another level. And I think it's the same with the models. And especially when you have plenty of them and you can just extract the thought to the another one and just use the simply very short, very fast path to waste your money or waste yourself. It's a distillation, so easy.
Yeah, and what you, for example, wanted, so adding data which is not cached by persisted, it's more of RAG solution, what Paweł mentioned. So you need some vector database where you've got saved all of your documentation, changed to vectors, of course, so embeddings it's called, and you can connect it to your model. So there is like a layer which the model will just take it from your database and based on that knowledge will answer you. But distillation as standalone mechanism won't do that.
Itself as a lone process will not add this, right? You have to do something more with this model, but you can do it during the a teaching, right, process. So that's why I said yes, it is possible, but not directly through distillation. Yes, thank you for
that's
clarification.
perfect. It's exactly what you're saying. It's not about distillation itself, right?
Yeah, distillation is better with something else.
No, just let's leave it. You want to talk about it, right?
Right. So I had the plan to do it differently, but I really like your question, especially about distillation and the previous
he
one.
Likes distillation.
So yes, distillation is always nice. So yeah, I have something for you. A chcę mówić?
It's for a cold days. It's a whole package, and the rest we'll give on the end. So thank you very much. Let's have a short break to switch the computers, presentations. The next session run by our beautiful female representation. We will talk about the recap of our event from the other perspective than technical. So the technical part was right now. You're staying with us, right? A little bit longer till the end of the meeting. Okay, so any questions you can ask now, and now we will switch the laptop. So enjoy, pizza is still there. You can hit the bar. So come on, we'll start that.
Okay, so we are starting.
We start. Yeah. All right, the recap from other perspective. I think that like it was said that AWS re:Invent is pretty big conference happening in the city that never sleep. And beside the technological part, there is a lot of other things that are very important on that conference. We touch a little bit the part regarding the news from the market, right, from the AWS. And now we'll focus on a little bit different part of that conference. Please give a warm applause. First time on stage in the role of a presenter. So a little bit, yeah, cheer up.
Hi, everyone. Firstly, I just want to say you that it is our first public speaking, so we are a bit stage frightened, and we hope that you will take our debut well. And all right, so I am Maria. Probably you must me know from this side when I just operate the whole broadcasting. But today I want to share with you with my thoughts after my first being on re:Invent. And I was there with Kasia.
Hi guys, I'm Kasia, and I have the most important job here, making sure you never run out of beer and pizza. And thank you. And I don't have any technical background, so if you ask me anything about AWS, I don't know, releases, features, products. So I will smile, nod, and change the subject. But the good thing is that I know the people who knows. So if you ask me, I can redirect you to the person who knows everything.
Yes, we together are not technical staff, so we know from the basics like what some names mean, but how they work, it is not a good direction to ask us about that. So that's why we'd like to give you examples and our perspective from being on re:Invent from non-technical point of view. Probably it is a point of view which you couldn't find anywhere in the internet, only on some backstage talks with others who are there. Oh, that's a good moment to ask you, who of you have been on re:Invent ever? Besides us, of course. Really? Okay, so I think you can maybe you can you are good people to share with you our experience from this this event. So let's begin. All right. So it is just our presentation has lots of pictures, maybe videos also, because this is a place which can overwhelm everyone. As Pavel said, there were over 60,000 people. So the amount of people makes, yes, this is big, believe us. So let's begin. Oh, there are numbers. This one, which are on this column, you probably noticed in Pavel presentation, which we can just add that it is just WXL size conference. Probably it is the biggest conference dedicated to the cloud in the world. It is really well organized registration process when the swags and badges are given, because it is like a factory, believe us. They just they are so well organized with giving away all of this stuff which allows you to take part in the conference, that it is something unbelievable. So maybe I will show you here. Sorry. Yeah. For example, this is a line to taking badges. Sorry for my body, which makes the stage not so good visible, because there are really huge line to take registration badges, which are with such pins. By them you can show how you would like to be named on the conference by what pronouns. Yeah, pronouns. Thank you. So this is swags which we taken from the whole conference, not only from AWS staff, but also during one of the biggest expo place. I mean, expo, it is a place where you can visit lots of AWS partners. They have lots of booths where you can take part in plays, but also in certificate workshops. I don't know why, but I have there a video and I don't know how to play it. Maybe Pavel help me. Oops. So I'm sorry. There should be a video. I don't know why it doesn't work. So let's go to the keynotes. Pavel already said lots about the keynotes. What I can just add in this thing is that I never have been before in the keynotes which lasted longer than 30 minutes. This these keynotes, each of them lasted at least 2 hours. Do you know, Pavel, how long lasted keynote of Dr. Webel?
I think it was between 2.5 and 3 hours. I think it was like between 2.5 and 3 hours or something like that. And most of them were that long, right? So maybe one was shorter. And they have a lot of guests on the stage, but still, it's, yes, the longest keynotes ever, yeah.
Yeah, you can feel like in the theater, in the real theater, because each of the stage was the theater size. And what's interesting, everyone could be involved. The capacity of each of the room was limited, so with over 60,000 people was selected between different rooms. It is so-called rooms because it was theater rooms actually, and in each of them was in real-time transmission from the main stage. So it is very good experience, especially for us, because as organizers of AWS Community Day in Poland. But let's keep this topic to the next next slides. Okay, this is another thing which surprised us the most, because there are very huge place as a dining canteen, which was as huge as couple of football pitches. Believe me, there was an army of waiters who has a special code how to deliver us the meal. And apart from the canteen, there was lots of additional events which were organized in almost each of a hotel in Las Vegas. So it was it wasn't a challenge actually, because everything was good. Connected by the transportation, by the shuttle buses, which drive between from one hotel to the another, taking us on another workshops or events. Many of them was there was a huge selection of events, not only parties but also mainly it wasn't a parties, but speeches, which were but as you can see on the above of it, it is a picture from the party which is called Replay. Yes, Replay, because on this party, which is a closing one at the end of the whole conference, and attending on it, it was quite challenging because most of us have returning flights very early in the morning, and this party was until the late hours of the night. And on this party, you can have an ability to listen to really good DJs or bands. Let me check which what's the name of the band. I actually haven't heard about them before. It was called Wizz. It is not a flight company, but probably this band is well known in United States. I don't know. Maybe you know them. Okay. Yes, And
and it was a lot of events organized for women and led by women. AWS really puts a lot of focus on supporting women in tech, women in cloud. So it was really inspiring for me. Yep.
I am responsible for switching our slides. Okay.
Okay, so my turn. So we are in Krakow, so we need to talk about money. So in Krakow, we don't like spending money, you know. So reInvent is amazing event, but it's not so cheap. So these are just basics expenses, but you know, in Vegas, sky is the limit. You can spend your yearly salary in the casino, or you can hire limo with private driver or something like this. So when I summarize this cost, I was terrified and I started thinking about selling my kidney. But you can attend it for free. And how? So you can ask your company or you can ask your boss for financial support. If your boss really likes you, you can get it. Or you can apply for a grant, All Builders Welcome Grant. So I do both way and both with success. So thank you, boss. Yep, and I want to speak more about All Builders Welcome Grant.
Yeah, because Kasia, I don't remember. Did you mention that you were granted?
Yep, a few years ago. So All Builders Welcome Grant is for people who have been working in tech for less than 5 years. And the grant supports diversity and inclusion idea. So if you are from any minority, you have any kind of disability, you are a former soldier, so you are more than welcome to apply. Application started at July, so be aware and don't miss it. And you can find information about it on official AWS reInvent site. And what you can get, full reInvent pass, flight, some gift cards, Uber cards, so you don't have to worry about anything. You also have special VIP treatment, so you can watch, for example, keynote for the first row, and it's really a great adventure. So conclusion, what did this event give us? So networking, this is the most important for me. We met so many wonderful and inspiring people. Some of them will be speakers here and on AWS Community Day in Warsaw this year. Beyond that, the whole event was a huge motivation boost. So the energy was contagious. So as soon as we got back, we started planning new activities for our group. And finally, best practice from user groups worldwide. So we gathered fresh ideas for workshops and meetups. So we can't wait to bring them to our community.
All right, and let's come back to the community again, because there are different kinds of communities, but also different kinds of groups which can be selected to go to the reInvent to do among AWS organization. And for example, we are together AWS community builders, but also AWS user group leaders. Some of us, not us, but for example, Maciek, he's AWS hero. And what's the difference? What does it mean? These are not only titles. For example, community builders, it's a global privilege. It is dedicated for this one who have something to share with others, which is much more educational. It could be blogs, articles, or video expertise which you can bring to the community or on your social media. To the last year, the application process was twice a year, but from this year it changed to the only once a year application, which already finished for this year, but who knows, maybe next year you will be interested in applying. Another option is being AWS user group leader. It is a local activity, and it is dedicated to the events organizing, like we do such meetups for you, but also we are involved in AWS Community Day conference as organizers. But you can just join AWS group for being participate in our meetups, not only in Poland, in Krakow, but also in other cities. And finally, AWS Heroes. This title is global, but it is not a title which is in which you can apply for. It is a title which is given by AWS employees. Yeah, so this is something huge. Much more. You have been not only the expert in some kind of area of AWS cloud computing, but also you need to have the impact on the on the whole organization in each country. All right, so on these three pictures you can see these all groups together, which can meet finally during reInvent. This is this one is the whole guys from Poland, AWS heroes, AWS community builders who already been on reInvent this year. As you can see, it is quite big representation. On this picture, you can see all user group leaders and community builders from the whole of the world, which gathered together in the same place. Happily, this was a moment when we celebrated 10th anniversary of the whole project. And this picture is just our party, yeah. On this website, where is the address? You can find much more details about all of these programs. If you will be interested, just
Yep, you can also find another AWS user group from whole world, and you can join to each one.
And eventually, we would like to invite you to attend in our AWS Community Day in Poland, which will be the 4th edition in Warsaw. You still have lots of time. It is free of charge event, so just sign in, and when the time for registration will come, because right now you can submit to our newsletter and be informed about upcoming events.
Yep, and if you want to be a speaker, you can send us a call of papers.
Yeah, the call of papers also will be announced in the couple of months. And there you can find us. You can also read our article about AWS reInvent. It is in Polish, so but you can also look on our YouTube profile channel, when you can see almost every of our meetups, which are recorded after every of meeting. So thank you. That's it. And of course, quiz time.
Thank you very much. Any questions? No questions. All right. You have one. Perfect. Wait a second. I just need to bring the microphone. Can I get there through here? Thank you.
Thank you. Could you clarify what the general topic will be on the general meetup of Poland user group? I mean, do you have like the general agenda of this meeting or something like that, just to understand what should be on this event, or what in general this event does? Thank you.
Thanks, man. I will take this question. So we will start the call for papers soon, and the call for papers usually define the event, right? So we are open to any people who have something to share. Usually, last year we had more than 100 people who wants to do some presentation in this event. If I can, what I think it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of AI. Obviously, right? So that's sure, right? And we see what we focus right now. We try to move out from community day on the events like that. We try to focus on the basic stuff plus some case studies, right? Case studies is a plus, but the basic stuff, because all of us start somewhere, and we always think that the start close home on the small event is always better than go for a big event and go there for beginner session, right? The community day basically is focused on the case studies plus the sessions that are 200, 300, which means that it's a little bit more technical. So if you are a beginner, you're going there and you go deeper, so that's how we structure that cooperation, So the local groups, more beginning plus case study to inspire, and community there, more deep dive and case studies from real experience. And the last year, like we said, we try to not talk about how to build landing zone. Come on, you start on the YouTube channel, like open the YouTube and you find everywhere information how to build a landing zone, how to configure route, right, DNS servers or stuff like that. Yeah, just like, come on, Everybody can find it on the internet, right? So we try to avoid that subjects, right?
For example, more practical example will be, for example, I've repeated this word I think 5 times.
Distillation.
Yeah.
I think so.
AWS Cognito, how you can hack it, like most of the ways
Yeah.
how to avoid all of the defenses of Cognito, or how to persist on lambdas, or
So
how
we-
to
we-
use AWS services to communicate from your C ship.
So we bring the people who have real, on-hands knowledge, and they share their experience. It not necessarily needs to be, like a, hey, I open my console and about 45 minutes I will talk about how I write a code. No, we don't care about that. We more often care about the fact that they saying their experience, like, don't go that way because it's a way to not go. I went there with my 300 customers. It was a bad idea, right? So let's go this way. And this is something, like I said, for sure automation, for sure AI. I think that compliance will be big, and hacking plus some kind of security stuff. So this is the things that we see from our event, and they will for sure emphasize, it should have echoes on Community Day. But what's going to be there? Well, next month will show. If you want to, like I said, present something, you can present here. This stage is always open for you. You can do 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, how you feel comfortable. Starts here, starts on the local scene. And what we see right now, that many presentations that happened on the AWS user group across the Poland, the best one landing on Community. And you can have access to 300, 400, 500 people listen what you have to say. So let's start here, guys, and go to Community Day and present there. I always encourage you, because this is the place where it's safe. It's safe to do. It's safe to do so. Yeah, thank you. Shit, I think I made the time for results, right? Did I make enough talk? Do we have results?
Do we have other questions?
Do we have any questions?
Oh,
No, come on. No question. Perfect.
One thing which we didn't say really. One thing which we didn't say. Really, is that it's not the conference. It's walkathon. Okay, number of steps done depends how quickly and how big steps you are doing. Reinvent. But to give you some example, my GPS showed me 80 kilometers. 80. Okay.
Oh my God, it's broken. No, it's not broken. So basically, the amount you did for a year, you did in a re-event. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so time for a quiz, yeah?
Time for results, actually. Could you give a microphone? Read it loud.
All right, so the first person is Dav.Synak.
Ooh. So we've got next security guy here. Great. So who's next?
The next one is the lady. It's Magdalena Bialik.
Congrats. Let's go with the biggest size. Congrats.
The next winner is Alec.Fidelus.
I think there was some cheating included. So how many attempts you did? Okay, who's next?
Alex.Zvikla.
Is it your second account?
All right, so maybe this guy is from online. So we will send giveaway.
Yeah, the voucher will be sent over email.
Later on. And the last one, yes?
No, we have
two. Okay. Piotr Guc.
Is Piotr here?
Piotr Guc.
Okay, so second online person.
Luzanov.
Congrats.
Bravo.
Congrats.
The last one is unisex, one size fits all.
Maybe it's for questions.
And it goes to Newcares.
Oh.
Congrats. Thank you very much. For the questions, information from you, the gentleman, please. Oh my God, so I feel like casting couch. All right. Sorry for the joke. Could you come for us for the questions? And we had the questions from where we had the questions additionally. Because I remember you changed places, that's why I remembered you, All right. So we have something for you as well. Yeah, I think we conclude this event. No, like for Maria after that, okay? She will take your details and send you spam for the entire of your life. So don't worry. Thank you very much for this event.